right, you're on.
Hi, I want to welcome everybody to this very important occasion in honor and celebration of Nancy's 70th birthday. As everybody has noted, she's probably one of the most energetic and youthful 70-year-olds any of us know. We put together a set of recollections about Nancy from people who have known her during her life. And I just want to say at the outset that we hope you all enjoy this, and we hope that together these excerpts will illustrate parts of Nancy's life that maybe not everybody was familiar with. So let's begin. Well, I've known her for probably 60 of her 70 years, and I remember when I first met her, I was in Hebrew school, and I looked across the room, and here was this shy, studious, very serious young girl immersed in her Hebrew studies. And I said to myself, there's some strong chemistry between us.
What are some key things you remember about Mom and your relationship during high school?
Well, we were in several classes together and shared a textbook in our history class, but I think one thing that's significant is the fact that that in high school I was elected captain of the Marshals. Now, I don't think they have those in high schools anymore, but the Marshals were a group of students who were in charge of other students, and they kind of helped keep order in the cafeteria. And because of my relationship with Nancy, I appointed her a marshal, which in retrospect was probably one of the biggest mistakes I made, because she got so used to telling people what to do that she kept on doing it. And many people in this room have experienced Nancy's pleasure in telling them what to do, including our whole family.
Where were you on the night of December 23rd, 1962?
1962. We got married, 6 months after we graduated college. I was 21 years old. She was a very mature 22. We looked gorgeous. I mean, she was in this beautiful wedding gown that she had borrowed from my cousin. Probably the first piece of clothing she didn't go out and buy for herself. And I was in this very distinguished looking tuxedo along with all my Beta fraternity brothers. It was a very nice ceremony, characterized by an extension of a lot of drinking that my fraternity brothers were used to.
Was it a conscious choice, the way you all chose to raise your 3 incredibly successful, well-adjusted children? Or was it just happenstance that we aren't all in an asylum?
Well, I think it's remarkable how well you all turned out. Your mother would probably say that it's a function of the independence and self-reliance that was the philosophy that guided her child-rearing practices. I don't know if John would remember, but she actually sent him off to school on the first day of kindergarten. So he would be 5 without any lunch. And I'm not convinced this was deliberate or not, but I always felt sorry at the thought of John kind of tapping the shoulder of some other little 5-year-old kid he's never seen before and asking if he could have a bite of his American cheese sandwich that first day of school.
But I love how you're removed from all of this. Like all of a sudden you don't have... Like, how come you weren't...
I was working.
How come you weren't responsible for my sandwich on the first day?
Because it's a mother's responsibility.
Okay, good. We might have to leave that one in. So how was Mom's, her attitude towards pets reflected her attitude towards any raising of any life form?
Well, Nancy's predisposition to foster independence wasn't just limited to our kids. She prided herself on helping our various pets become independent as well, which is a nice way of saying that they were totally neglected. Over the course of our married life, I think we've had like 7 dogs, 2 of them for less than a week. But the dogs were actually treated like royalty compared to the cats we had. Nancy hardly ever saw the cats. Basically, they weren't allowed in the house. The cats spent most of their time outside getting pregnant. As a matter of fact, at one point we were so overwhelmed by cats that she took a bunch of the kittens in a box to the Shepherd's School fair, and unbeknownst to all the parents there, she gave out these poor little kittens to kids to take home as pets. And that's how we got rid of a whole bunch of these cats.
So yes, Mom had some challenges as far as a pet owner and a parent, but as a grandparent, she's not been bad.
Well, I don't know whether it's out of guilt or not, but she's more than compensated by all of her history of neglecting her own children by being just a fantastic grandparent. And she's invested in her 2 grandchildren all of the time and energy and nurturance that she didn't exhibit towards her own children. So in fact, the most charitable explanation is that she didn't want to expend it all on her own children, so she could invest it in Julia and Zachary. And the fact that she just has these 2 to invest in is in part a commentary on the total failure of her 2 sons to have provided her with any other grandchildren.
Great, yeah, we'll make sure we edit that shit out.
I don't know of anybody who's as dedicated a professional as she has been, nor anybody who's held such a wide range of jobs. I mean, she began as a first-grade teacher and was a fantastic teacher. When we moved to Philadelphia, worked with the central office. She got a job with a federal agency. Then she went back to graduate school and made a whole professional career in the area of linguistics. She was an instructor at 3 or 4 different colleges and universities. She did consulting work. She taught ESL, executive director of a synagogue. That was a highlight of her career. She worked at the Foreign Policy Association. She was executive director of the Pro-Choice Resource Center. She was director of development for the organization trying to bring the 2012 Olympics to New York City. Director of development for 2 legal service nonprofits, and then on her current job, director of development for Ceres. And she also, in the middle of all this, ran for county legislator in Westchester County and almost won. Believe it or not, her opponent accused her of being an elitist of all things. I must say with some guilt that a number of these transitions were caused by my changing jobs and moving to a new place and her having to give up something that she was fully invested in. So I guess I apologize for that. From all of us here, Nancy, you've had 70 wonderful years. May you have many more years. We all love you dearly, and we wish you all a terrific 70th birthday.